right. Welcome to Fastbreak Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, here once again with my buddies through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with Chuck Anderson.
Hey now.
And with John Burr.
Aloha, gentlemen.
Aloha, John. Aloha, Chuck. Everything going well for you guys? We're recording on a Monday afternoon. John, you're making a face.
I guess we should talk about this. Maybe I don't deserve a team with great expectations because I'm no longer enjoying myself.
It's got a little stressful.
Like right now, if I was a Phoenix Suns fan right now, I would not be on the podcast. I would be huddled in the shower with cold water running over my clothed body in the shower, sobbing uncontrollably. Like I just kind of can't really. Maybe this explains like some of Chuck's unpleasantries over the years, because like it's just not fun having any expectations at all. I've never had expectations, not since I was a young child. So I just being a Grizzlies fan right now is somewhat torturous.
There were expectations a couple of times as Grizzlies fans in the grit and grind era. We thought we were pretty good. We went an entire season. We went an entire season when we were like top 3 in ESPN's power rankings. Yeah. Like we won. We started off like 10-1. We were 1 in the power rankings for forever. And so and even that year, we ended up playing the Trailblazers in the first round. It's one of the 3 times now, including this season. That's one of 3 times the Grizzlies had home court advantage in the first round. It's like basically the only time they were ever favored. And even that Trailblazers series I was so nervous about, they won it comfortably without Mike Conley. But I remember being anxious in those games. This year, yeah, I'm with you, John.
Here's
the
what
weight of expectation.
I don't think a wise man once said, let's see what happens after you get punched in the face. I don't think I like being punched in the face. I don't think I handle it very well. I don't think many people do. Have punched us in the face, and now I'm just like I'm experiencing all sort of mental maladies.
And also I'm seeing stuff that maybe relates to like just me as like a crotchety old dude. And I see things where, hey, everyone's been criticizing the Grizzlies for having fun, and they're just like tweeting nonstop. And then on the flip side, I see the Timberwolves, and it's like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns have deactivated their Twitter. And I'm like, oh man, they're locked in. Like Cat's last post was a scheduled ad for the vaccine. Like that man's not on social, and so like that part of it, I'm like, all right, it's different generations. These guys being online is not a problem. But yeah, no, I'm with you, John. It's very, very nerve-wracking. By the way, if you have any anxiety, you can come to Noble's Beer Hall on Tuesday night at 6:30. Gonna have a little bit of a watch party with our Nashville contingent. I mean, we had a Game 3 watch party that was an all-timer. A spectacular all-timer as the Grizzlies rally from 26.
More on that later.
Let's get more of that. We'll be hanging out at Noble's Beer Hall on Tuesday. We will have some prizes. They have drink specials. I think it's 2 for 1 on Tuesdays, as is the habit at many establishments. It might just be a koozie and sunglass giveaway. We're not sure if the prize supply is going to get in. All right.
We're
if we
dry.
get the stash, if the drop comes through.
The plug has run empty, and we got to be careful.
Yeah. If we get re-upped, then we will, in fact, have a bunch of prizes for you on Tuesday. At the very least, for Game 6 on Friday night. Game 6, Timberwolves Grizzlies, if you're anywhere in the Middle Tennessee area. If you're in Memphis, if you're not driving to Minneapolis, come on and drive over to Nashville. We'll have a great watch party on Friday night, also at Noble's Beer Hall. So if you're in the Nashville area, want to hang out with us, meet us over at Noble's. No, John, there's a lot of anxiety.
You guys are just worrying too much. I understand the position
Chuck,
that
you're saying
in.
You didn't have anxiety going into Game 4 of the Hawks? No. Like you guys looked strong, and then you dropped that Game 3. Trae Young hits a floater. No, you were mad. You were texting us mad that Jimmy Butler was taking last-second shots.
That's emotion, and that's after a loss. Going into the game, I was confident. And look, if you get a little distance, we were fine. We lost on a weird floater, and Jimmy's going to take those shots because he's Jimmy, and that's okay. I can live with it. I can be mad directly after, but I'll live with it.
Are we supposed to?
I guess it also helps that,
now?
Go ahead.
I was saying, are we supposed to talk about the Grizzlies now, or should we table it and come back?
We'll come back.
We'll come back.
We have
Let's do our breakfast. We have
keep it to format.
Yeah, when I get anxious, I have a nice cup of black coffee. If that was taken away from me, I don't know how I would calm my nerves. I don't have What'd you guys have, Chuck? What was your breakfast?
I'm not talking about breakfast. I went to
stick to format. Stick to format. He says.
I'll talk about food.
I'm not talking about breakfast.
I went to Juicy Seafood in East Nashville, Tennessee. It is the craziest food experience I've ever had in my life. I walk in and it has the like trappings of a seafood restaurant. It's like, it looks like the inside of a ship. There's a lot of rope around like pillars.
Oh,
right?
man. I love a decorated restaurant.
They're all the same, Chuck. They're all the same.
But is this
I don't
not
know,
the
tell
thing
me-
I just talked about last
You
week?
did,
is.
but
It
I
is.
need clarification. The one on Gallatin Road in East Nashville, Tennessee, is covered in graffiti on the inside. They hand you a marker and like, yeah, go to town, right on our walls.
No,
and it's been open for 2 years or 3 years.
That's
and
a
it's
franchisee putting their stamp on their franchise.
Oh, they're taking care of their business. Okay, so that wasn't the one you had in Memphis, Keith.
No, this was
Okay.
It was called Red Hook Cajun
This-
Bar or something.
You walk in and it was just like a b-boy fever dream. There's all sorts of like gamer tags and people's Instagrams on the wall, and you can't really pay attention to what's going on the menu because you're distracted by all of the scribbling. There's so much scribbling everywhere. And then they bring you your food in a plastic bag, and it's the color of like a very worrisome diarrhea. Like that's the color of the juice of my crab parts and products.
Yeah.
And
Well, how was
very
your crab,
underwhelming.
your crab sack? Wasn't very fun.
I would have put more salt in the spread. They didn't.
Oh
salt
man,
it.
mine was heavily seasoned. I don't mind.
I mean, seasoned, yeah, but I didn't get a lot of salt.
Okay.
And it was just, I don't know. Maybe I had my 8-year-old with me, which was its own distracting, event.
How did the 8-year handle? Did you teach him how to crack a crab leg?
I taught him how to eat a crawfish because I had crawfish there.
You mean crayfish?
Get out of here. Go. I taught him how to suck head on a crawfish. Wait a
There you
minute.
go. Teach him early.
And turns out his little fingers do a great job of peeling a crawfish.
Hey, there you
My
go.
hands, they aren't as tactile as his. He's good with Legos and tails of crustaceans.
I'm really good at de-shelling a shrimp.
Chuck is your
like
father,
magic, like instantaneous. I have that practice. I don't have the practice with the other shellfish. Like I don't have it with the crawfish. I don't have it. I'm very clumsy with the crab.
I have cut myself multiple times with crab.
Oh yeah, if you're not
That's
done eating crawfish with like multiple miniature like
There's abrasions
wounds on your fingers,
like the
then
little
you didn't do it
defense
right.
wounds.
Yeah. It was the crawfish.
Like when they discovered your corpse OD'd, they were like, this guy
CSI,
had a fight with
CSI Baton Rouge, starring Nicolas Cage.
No, we were laughing.
CSI
So
Port of Call, New Orleans.
when I was with my
Protocol.
buddies in Memphis eating at our weird bag of seafood place, we thought it would be hilarious if there was some form of scoring system to say how completely you ate your crab. Like how clean did you get your crab? Because I'm like, I feel like I'm operating like 46%. Like I think 54%, 56 is still in there. I can't get it out. I don't know how to get it out.
Then you get hit with the time honored query from Bunk from The Wire. You gonna eat your crab gut?
There you go.
crab
Oh, yeah.
gut. That's important. The blue crab. So I got crawfish, blue crab, and king crab. The king crab is easy because it's giant. The blue crab, it's tiny. I don't know how anyone does it. I'm sure there's like somebody from Baltimore who
There's
could
an
teach me.
unlocking. There's an unlocking.
Yeah, there's like a hood of sorts.
Yes.
That
Well,
you
I know
just,
there's like one, and there's one
This
part
is
of the
so
joint.
close
I know how to
to-
get the joint off where it like comes out cleanly. But then, like, is it the thigh of the crab? And I'm like, wait,
There's no thigh.
I just gotta crack this.
Chuck's
What's
Chuck's
the upper-
verbiage. Chuck's verbiage is too messy.
Is it a
today.
femur? Is it a crab femur? What's
You
above
lift-
the joint?
You
Abdomen.
lift the hood and then you stick your tongue right where the meat is, and then you
Gotcha.
try to tongue it out with your tongue.
No, you get. I think, Chuck, I know what you're gonna doing, but you need tools. I'm sorry, you need tools.
Yeah.
All they give you is a crack.
You
the
get them from
cracker.
Can you
The
get them from
place-
the Sears and Roebuck
The
catalog?
place in Memphis didn't even give us a cracker. They didn't even give us.
What?
And by the way, can I even say that? What? I don't even know what I'm doing.
I think you can.
They didn't give us. They didn't give us the tool, and we were breaking. We were breaking the crab, and we're like, "Is this? Aren't they supposed to give us a hammer or some kind of like squeezer?" And then like the waitress comes over, is like, "Oh, did I not give you guys the thing?" We're like,
"You're supposed to get a hammer and sickle."
We're the new guys.
Take down
there were no hammers. I needed the mallets.
Seize the means of production.
That's amazing,
with your craft
Chuck.
tools.
But so like Chuck, a restaurant like that is experiential. It's not. You're not paying for the food. You're paying for the experience.
My favorite.
You're really not paying for the food because it's like the old seafood from the
I'm saying you're paying
restaurants.
Money. I mean, you're paying.
You're paying very little.
It's not cheap.
My favorite part about it was that it had its own standalone, like hand washing station outside of the bathroom.
Sure that wasn't a repurposed eye wash station.
Did they give you gloves there? My
yes,
place in
there was gloves.
Gave me the gloves.
They stood no chance against.
I also was confused about that. Like there were, there's a container of napkins in the center of the table, and also like some ketchup and some Tabasco or whatever. But it wasn't like easily accessed basket of napkins. It was your typical kind of hard to pull out one at a time. God. And so like we're gloved up like ER surgeons. We have these trash bags full of crab juice in front of us, and like we're like reaching and cracking, and we're splattering all the napkin containers and everything. And I'm like,
any
is this
kind of black light situation would be.
It was just you see the splatter pattern. They could be like 3 people sat here.
So for my birthday, traditionally we would always do crawfish boils. I think Chuck has been to at least one that we would do in my backyard, and it always would. Now in a post-COVID world, how long it took to get rid of the crawfish boil aftermath makes me think that such a restaurant is unhealthy and should not be eaten at, because you can never truly clean a post crawfish eating situation.
Well, I was just thinking I was honestly having the thought at this place, like this might be last on my hierarchy of places where I would want to clean up the tables. Like I can't think of another meal. Like this is an especially disgusting. I don't care if you have brown paper over the table.
There's a lot of places.
It was ugly. I actually was debating, would I rather clean this or a FedEx Forum bathroom after a playoff game?
Robert Swift rental property. There's just places you don't want to be. Playoff game bathroom is something else. I've seen some unholy things.
It's like what happened in here.
Especially if like the visiting team is winning and their fans.
You need a CSI Memphis to be like, what happened in this bathroom? Like how did it occur? Hey, John, what was your breakfast?
I'm a gaz today.
Bagos.
I try to, anytime we are going to record, have something adventurous, which in this case, I tried new fillings in my donuts. Blueberry. Straight from my usual Bavarian. Blueberry filled things are good, huh? I don't think of myself as a blueberry person, but once you stick them in some preserves or what have you, it's just kind of like sweet goodness, right?
So is it just like a blue jelly donut?
Kind of, but there were little blueberries in there. It was kind of like they put the jelly with it as well, because it didn't taste like blueberries, because that wouldn't have been that. Like if I bit into a donut and blueberries came out, I think it would be like an "Are You Afraid of the Dark" type story involving a goiter or something. Like I don't want blueberries to pour out of anything that I bite into. But jelly,
I like a nice fruit pastry or something. I don't mind having or a tart that has some blueberries on it.
I just don't want it spilling out. I don't want something filled like with a bunch of them, and not to go full casino. Like I'm not going to count the blueberries,
right?
But
do you fear when you eat a jelly filled or Bavarian cream filled, the cream or jelly spewing onto your person? Is that
I have a system. I have a very good system. It involves I go to Sonic first, and I order, and you go onto the app, and I order. Here's my Sonic order. I'm now down to only one 44-ounce unsweet tea a time, but then I also order an empty cup, which you can do on the app. You can order an empty cup, and when I get to McGaw's and I eat the donut, I eat over the giant 44-ounce empty cup. And never, ever has there not been some form of spillage or refuse. So you're right. Because I did to hammer home Chuck's point, I did leave a hockey game last night because I got mustard on my shirt. So
this is a recurring theme from
It is. It's one of my
8
favorite
years of Fast Break Breakfast episodes.
This is why I don't make fun of Ben Simmons, because I know how it feels.
There's some things we can't face. All of us have the things. My breakfast, I had cinnamon Cheerios. I didn't know they had a variety of cinnamon Cheerios. We're attempting to wean our children off of the hard sugar cereals. We're no more straight Fruity Pebbles. No more. Trying to even get Frosted Flakes. We're actually comparing the sugar totals of breakfast cereals. We're trying to work our way back. It used to be, hey, it's full-scale pandemic. We're not going a lot of places. Maybe you're missing out on some fun. So we're making breakfast a little bit of a treat, having more sugary, decadent things. Now it's like, listen, these are your lives now. We're dialing back the sugar meter. So we're doing it with some flavored Cheerios. Yeah, John.
So who is responsible for this? Because in my household, I am terrified, petrified of my child having a taste for from where you sit, finer or poorer things, like sugary stuff. Because as a large man, someone who hides his trash and then hides his refuse in the neighbor's trash, I worry about my
and
child
has a complicated system for eating filled donuts.
Yeah, I worry about my child becoming. Whereas my partner, who has she ran a marathon last weekend, she has no body fat. She's like, let her eat whatever she wants. I'm like, no, she can't become me.
I don't.
Are you doing this because of your sweet tooth? Are you like no moss?
I think both my wife and I were raised on like grape nuts and just grossness. And we were like, all right, if that's how we were raised, I think we can do that. We can, if I could live on Rice Krispies and Kix being the big sweet cereal, like once a month, we can get them there. We also just thought they need to be eating a little bit better. Like there's no chance having Lucky Charms in the morning is good for a person. And so we're like, we're going to back it up, and we're trying to do that. By the way, the cinnamon Cheerios, I had high hopes that they were fine. They were not great. They probably honestly could have used more sugar. Not very tasty. Anyway, those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we move to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on a previous episode. It's frequently the first time we talk about the NBA, which the show is supposed to be about. What things do you guys need to apologize for? John, what should you make right?
I said just last week that it appeared to me the Nuggets were completely finished. The Joker would not pull off enough magic to even steal a game. And as soon as the words slithered out of my mouth, Joker gets a 37-point mind-numbing performance and probably makes it a gentleman's sweep. But hey, I shouldn't have turned my back on him. It's been, and if this is how he's going to go out, it's kind of the entire season in a microcosm, kind of like just a perfect mini tattoo of what Jokic has done all year, which is kind of pull a team out of the gutter and make with his own performance, because the guy statistically, I don't think we'll see another season like this. But I don't think it's very emblematic of what makes a team good. Like if a player is having to do this, is having to have this kind of burden, there's probably a reason that this team isn't very good, but I still owe the man an apology. It's been an amazing season, and I'll be sad to see him go.
Yeah, Jokic put the team on his back, is now 8-3 when facing elimination in his career, which is a remarkable number. Also, definitely bolstered by the bubble run of coming back from 3-1 deficits twice.
2 times.
So now they have the Warriors right where they want them at 3-1. Hey, that game was pretty fun. You had Steph and Clay going full Splash Bros. Steph Curry misses 4 free throws in the game for the first time in his entire career. And then, you get a good playoff game from Monte Morris. Like Monte Morris has been bringing it. Aaron Gordon with a nice game, but it comes down to that hilarious sideline out of bounds play.
Pulling Jokic.
Where Jokic is on the bench because they sub him out for defense. More on that in a second.
Leads to some brutal tweets.
So They sub him out on defense. He calls out the play, though. He's like, it's a lob. It's a lob. And they still throw it. It's such a bad pass. Like, everyone's like, hey, great defense from Austin Rivers. It was such an underthrown pass. Also, you're telling me Nikola Jokic couldn't have defended that pass? You're telling me on a sideline and out of bounds?
Put him on the inbounder.
Jokic, who knows what the play is, isn't going to be better at defense. I've talked about this so many times on the show. I think it's so idiotic that Mike Malone takes out Nikola Jokic, who's arguably the best player in the NBA for defensive possessions. It would be one thing.
Clutch possessions, especially.
It would be one thing if they had a bunch of dudes who you were like, oh,
yeah,
they got some great
specialists.
Yeah.
I would argue Nikola Jokic is the best defensive player on this team.
It's not like Kyle Anderson's coming in. It's not like a random Derek Jones Jr.'s coming in. It's not like a guy
Michael Green,
like Austin Rivers. Like Austin Rivers has been fine on defense in this playoffs. He's been fine for the Nuggets this year on playoffs. But like, why are you taking him out? And we've seen it over and over and over where the Nuggets have to call a timeout to get him back in the game.
This is why I hate calling.
It's
I hate
so
using
weird.
I hate using terms like genius for athletic coaches because that's just not how it works. None of these men are geniuses. They're coaches. This is how it works. We can't raise them to these lofty expectations, or you'll get bitten every time.
Also,
matches Malone on the case again.
The other thing with Mike Malone taking out Nikola Jokic, this entire season has been this heated MVP debate. And let's say you're preparing yourself to go into the online forums of battle. You're girding your loins to go out and compete for your champion, Nikola Jokic. Mike Malone has given your opponent,
oh my God,
an unstoppable weapon that ends any conversation. Like, accurately, if you are participating in online discourse and someone says something to the effect of, you're subbing out your guy for defense in the last minute of a game, and that's your argument for the best player, and there's no comeback to that.
Yeah,
I can blame Mike Malone. I say, listen, it's foolish of Mike Malone to do this, but like that's a trump card. That is a winning hand every time.
Those are the aforementioned tweets.
Yeah, is there a magic bullet in Magic the Gathering, John? The unbeatable card.
It's the force of will. It's the force of will.
Yeah, like that's what Mike Malone has given everyone. Like, can you imagine a scenario where any of these other guys would be subbed out for defense on the final play? I like to emphasize, I don't understand at all doing it. I think you absolutely want Jokic, who's got amazing hands, has great size. He understands the game that's happening in front of him. I don't care in this specific game. Yes, the Warriors were attacking him.
Maybe he was super tired.
Maybe he was very, very tired. It worked out for him. But I would rather ride with my best players. It's a controversial opinion I've always had. And I think it's so
an all-time great on the court. At least been there.
I'll do my apology. Speaking of the online forms of debate.
Genius coaching.
And the battlefields of posting, where you have to throw your shade, go back to the well of some of your greatest hits, enter your wheelhouse. As the 76ers lost game 4 against the Raptors, they will have a chance to avenge this game 4 loss on Monday night, very soon after we finish recording this episode. Doc Rivers, once again, lost a game as a head coach where he had the chance to win the series. And I posted a stat about Doc Rivers has only won 6 of his last 20 attempts to close out a series.
Kobe.
That stat it was technically accurate, but it wasn't as fully accurate as it could have been. I actually left out one bit of data, which would have been useful. I forgot last year. I did not count last year that the Sixers were also up on the Wizards 3-0 and lost that game 4 to Russell Westbrook and the Wizards. So the correct stat, or a more accurate stat, and especially now with Twitter changing ownership, maybe veracity matters more than ever.
Truthiness.
I would like to correct that stat to let you know, actually, Doc Rivers has won 6 of his last 21 attempts. So the number's a little higher. He's lost 15 of his last 21 opportunities to win a playoff series, which is frankly incredible. We might never see it again. Doc Rivers doing things, but I apologize for not getting the full story when I posted that statistic. Chuck, what do you need to make right in the world?
So I was at the watch party for the Grizz versus Timberwolves game 3. And I was, chilling, watching the Grizzlies just get mollywopped. They were getting dragged across the court. It felt bad. And I had to go. I have like obligations. I had to go to class. I'm in school.
Air quote class.
Quote class. It's online. Does it count? Don't know. And I left going, whatever. They took an L. Sucks. But I got stuff to do. During class, I'm like checking the score. The Grizz come back at the end of the first half, and I'm going, wow, they got it within, 10 or something.
7.
At the end of the first
7. Yeah.
And then I closed the NBA app. I opened it back up, and the Timberwolves were up by 20.
They got it by 25 again. Yeah.
And I go, wow, I'm glad I left. They made their run, but whatever. Close the app again, and all I hear is my phone buzzing, and it's the group chat with John and Keith. And I go back and find out that the Grizz won, and I missed what would probably, the most exciting watch party we've ever hosted.
Easily the best watch party of all time. Absolute pandemonium.
I'm sick with FOMO. I could have been in that room feeling that excitement when there was. Keith claims there was a dog pile. I don't know. It might have just been.
It was an emotional dog pile.
No one feels FOMO like Chuck either.
I was about to say
feels FOMO. It is.
Let's compare these two life events of yours, Chuck. Which one do you regret the most? Do you regret not being at the incredible Grizzlies watch party where they came from behind and the entire bar stood on their tables screaming, chanting for the Grizzlies, or you not seeing Ray Allen knock down the game-tying three-pointer against the Spurs, most famous shot in Heat franchise history?
Well, I have to say it's Ray because there was I was distraught. I went outside to smoke a cigarette going, this series is over. And that turned into what became the greatest shot in the history. Maybe the greatest single shot maybe in playoff history.
It's no Kyrie Irving. I would give you it's one of the best shots in finals history. But still Kyrie's game 7.
It's like behind 2 different White Bulls player shots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually it's not a game winner. It's pretty special though.
Pretty great.
Damn but good I missed shot. It. Very special to you.
I thought I couched it well by saying in Heat franchise history.
No,
you opened it up to the whole world, which is a little
greatest
tougher.
Shot in Heat history ever.
Yeah, a little higher bar.
There's no greater shot. Yeah. But I missed it. But I'm sorry to anybody who was there, and I missed.
No, we're glad you left.
It's probably. I'm probably.
Well, now we got to figure out what do you do for future watch parties? Do you?
I should probably start.
You now have. I think you now have a permanent permission to leave anytime the game starts looking poor.
Yeah, if you guys start sucking, I go, all right then.
Yeah,
and I'll bounce. That's the new MO.
That is the new MO. Anyways, if you're not around Nashville for the watch party, if you're anywhere near Memphis, hey, get your ticket for Game 5. Experience every towel-waving Memphis moment and every moment of Memphis Hoops history with your 2022 Grizzlies playoff tickets for Round 1, Game 5. Those tickets are on sale now. Also, you can lock in the best seats when you purchase 2022-23 Grizzlies season tickets. To get your playoff tickets for Game 5, visit Grizzlies.com or call 1-800-4-NBA-TIX. The Grizzlies 2022 playoffs are presented by Orion and your Mid-South Ford dealers.
You're going to see the who at FedEx Forum?
Who? No, on May 13th. Those tickets are also Ticketmaster. Thank you, John. All right, it's now time for Steak and Eggs. Your Steak and Eggs best thing. What's the best thing you saw in the last week? Chuck, what's your Steak and Eggs?
So I'm just in love with the New Orleans Pelicans at this point. They're feisty. They know they're probably outmatched, but they don't care. They're full of rookies that are just warming my heart. To quote John, no way Jose Alvarado out here. The persistence of this gentleman getting effectively waved off by Chris Paul trying to do his little okey doke from the sideline, steal the ball from behind move. Chris Paul literally was like, get out of here, son. Like he's, I don't know, some sort of cartoon.
The beauty of the playoffs is shining a light on stuff like Jose Alvarado's antics, which if you've paid attention, he's done all year. Most of his best moments are in the half court after an inbounds pass.
It's crazy. And then Herb Jones, I have to be careful because sometimes I call him Herb. I don't know.
I started that too. Yeah, you got in my head. I'm trying to cut it out.
It's Herbert. Herbert crumbling.
Enamored.
He's incredible.
He's
blocking
so awesome.
3-point shots. I don't even know if that's legal. Like there should probably be a rule against that because it seems unfair. But yeah, they're beautifully well constructed with a bunch of like scrappy dudes that I root for. But I think they're missing, like, imagine if they had, like, just for example, like a power forward who could kind of handle the bar.
Nope.
Who could maybe take a rebound, go down the courts, initiate a fast break. Somebody who's explosive. I don't know.
They have one, Larry Nance.
Oh, that's it.
They got Larry Nance Jr. He's the secret. Hey, here's the thing. The Pelicans are so fun now. And I got a lot going on in this series. One, I'm using this to kind of help myself as the Grizzlies are struggling with the Timberwolves. Where now, like, I find myself, hey, listen, the two teams with the two best records are locked in these 2-2 series. So, like, I'm kind of cheering for the Pelicans, despite our rivalry. Like, I want the Pelicans to win. A lot of it is just how enjoyable they are with, McCollum and also, of course, Alvarado and Herb Jones. And then our guy, Valanciunas, is just smashing people. And then Willie Green makes a great adjustment in game 4 where it used to be Valanciunas, like, started the game and then would, like, finish each half. He had a very typical play the first 10 minutes and, like, the final 8 minutes of each half or whatever. And they were getting kind of worked over, which is, prone to happen to Valanciunas. In game 4, they swapped it where Valanciunas came out a little bit early, get Larry Nance in there. Then they have Valanciunas come back in so he can just eat. He can feast while JaVale's in there.
Oh,
I know JaVale made a lot of shots, but, like, adjusting to have Valanciunas playing against some of the Suns' second unit has worked out really, really well. And, like, this team is playing really, really great. And I think they definitely have kind of frightened the Suns just a little bit.
Brandon Ingram is incredible to watch.
He's incredible.
It's kind of great to watch him progress, and he's playing defense in the playoffs. At least he's playing defense. So it looks like when Brandon Ingram is at his top, he's the best player on the court with Devin Booker out.
He has been. So Chris Paul had been until game 4.
Right.
But, like, this Pelicans team is playing great. Brandon Ingram becomes the first Pelicans player to score 30 points in 3 straight playoff games. The only other 2 guys to do it, I guess, in their franchise history are Chris Paul and Anthony Davis. But there's just so much good stuff going on. And actually, some of the Pelicans players reminds me actually of a little song. Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. All right, so the Pelicans, like every other team in the playoffs, have played 4 games as we record this before the Monday night games have begun. With everyone playing the same number of games, we can see who some of the statistical leaders are so far in the playoffs. So what this game is going to be, if you name the person who leads the NBA in this category or in any category, the categories are going to be points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, threes, fouls, and turnovers. You can name a player. If you can tell me the category you're guessing for, you have to specify the category you're guessing for. If you get the top player, you get 3 points. If you get the player who's second or third, you get 1 point. We got it?
All right.
So we're just saying we're doing 8 categories: points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, threes, fouls, and turnovers. When you go, you will pick which category you want, and then you'll try to name a name. Or you can name a name first and then do your category. I don't really care. John, why don't you go first?
So the game is, to clarify, we're just picking season leaders or playoff leaders?
Playoff totals.
Totals.
Playoff totals. So some players have been injured, like a Devin Booker has not played all 4 games. His name does not appear in this game.
Right.
So,
and it's not Pelican specific. So just playoff.
Well, the Pelicans might have inspired me, John.
I know. I'm going to go with points, and I'll say Brandon Ingram.
That is incorrect. No points awarded for John.
Points and Jokic.
That is a 3-pointer for Chuck.
Nicely
Jokic
done.
leads the NBA in scoring in the postseason.
I'll go with assists and Chris Paul.
Chris Paul does lead the NBA in assists in the postseason. That is a 3-pointer for John.
Yes.
I looked this up because I felt that Marcus Smart is maybe the 3rd best defender on his team. And Jaylen Brown is leading the NBA in steals.
Dang.
You get 1 point. Jaylen Brown is 2nd in steals.
Never mind. I know who is.
He might have just given you a clue there, John. That's 1 point for Chuck, with Jaylen Brown, who is 2nd in the NBA in steals per game or total steals in the playoffs.
That makes me want to guess something. I'm going to go steals, Jose Alvarado.
No.
Dang.
I'm gonna go.
You got too cute there, John. He doesn't play that many minutes.
I know.
I'm gonna go
2 steals last.
I'm gonna go steals Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler is the
6,
3-pointer.
right?
He basically said it. He said half the name. He spit it out.
I didn't hear the name.
That's a 7-3 lead for
I'm still waiting
Chuck.
for a Pelican. Okay. What could a Pelican be leading in? Let's do blocks. Let's do blocks, Herb Jones.
You're doing so terribly. It's incredible how poorly you're doing.
He had 3 blocks last game.
No.
I'm gonna do rebounds.
No.
Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, it's obviously Jonas Valanciunas in rebounds. It was clearly Jonas Valanciunas in rebounds the entire time. That's when the song started.
Yes.
Chuck leads 10-3. John has. We're not really doing strikes, but he's also struck out and only has 3 points. John, your turn. We got a lot of stuff left.
What do we have left? We've done points.
Well, you get if you get a top 3, we have gotten you can still get naming people who are 2nd and 3rd in points, 2nd and 3rd in assists are still out there, 2nd and 3rd in rebounds are still out there. We have gotten our leaders in points, assists, rebounds, and steals. We have not broached the categories of blocks, 3-pointers, fouls, and turnovers.
Fouls. Let's do Jaren Jackson Jr. foul.
There's a big 3-pointer from John.
There we go.
There's a bit back on the board. Jaren leads the NBA in fouls in the postseason, 10-6.
I'm not certain.
Chuck leads.
I'm not certain of this, but my heart tells me that Trae Young is leading the NBA in the playoffs for turnovers.
That's another 3-pointer for John.
Unbelievable. This is Reggie Miller.
This is
14 points.
13-6. Chuck is winning.
Oh God.
In his defense, this is his series. The Hawks Heat. That's definitely his series.
Right.
It's my series.
All right, John.
Well, I know I better take Jimmy Butler off of points then, just to get some points.
Jimmy Butler is second in points.
Right?
So that's a 1-pointer for John, and a good job probably taking away one of Chuck's. So 13-7, back to Chuck.
Giannis rebounds.
That is incorrect. That's an empty trip.
Let me
Trip for Chuck. So John, you can cut into the lead here.
This might be stupid to try to do points, but I feel like Donovan Mitchell has scored 1 billion points.
Hey, well played. You need a 3-pointer and you're going for the 1-pointers. That's fine though. It's 13-8.
I'm doing
13-8.
I'm doing the commentary, March Madness commentator
Yes,
thing. You don't need a 3 here.
All right.
You don't need a 3 here.
We have our points. The points category is depleted. Back to you, Chuck. You got a 5-point cushion. We haven't got any correct answers for blocks or threes. Not even any guesses for threes yet, I don't believe.
Blocks. Threes. I didn't think about threes. I didn't even think about threes.
Blocks, Jaren Jackson.
Bang. Jaren leading the NBA in blocks in the postseason, just like he did in the regular season.
Threes, I'll do Bane.
16-8. Bane will get you 1 point, John. He is second in made 3-pointers this postseason.
I think
Chuck with a nice 7-point lead here. Get a little bit harder. You guys have done a good job. We've got a lot of the players off the board.
As soon as I got done trying to guess Pelicans, I did a lot better.
We've got
what if I went with 3-pointers and Klay Thompson?
Oh,
that's another 3-pointer.
No, give me that.
Oh, I think it might. I don't think you can catch him, John.
Let me try. Can I do free throws? Free throws? I bet I can free throws.
No, free throws not a category we're interested
Please.
in. Not interested in free throws this time.
That's got to be.
It's 19-9. Let's see. John, you got some points available.
Okay.
With second and third in assists, second and third in rebounds, second and third in steals, second and third in blocks. All these are available.
I can get these. I'll do assists and I'll do Harden. Harden has 1 million assists.
James Harden is third in assists. It's 19-10. Back to you, Chuck.
What about assists and Ja?
Yeah.
That's another one. The assist category is closed. Chuck's still up by 10, 20-10.
Oh God. So what do I have left?
We got rebounds are available and very gettable. We have 7 names available for steals because there's a 6-way tie for third.
I'll do rebounds. I'll do Gobert.
Gobert is third, 22-11. Chuck?
So is that closed?
Nope. Still the second in rebounds. We have the leader, Valanciunas, and third place, Gobert.
Okay.
Back to you, Chuck.
And steals? What about Jason Tatum? Steals.
Tatum is tied for third. One of the 6 names on there. Yes. Domination.
But
continues.
not Marcus Smart, weirdly.
Well, steals are not a reflection of defensive ability.
And did Chuck say Jalen for steals?
No, Jalen is available. Jalen is second. All right, 21-12. You guys are just crossing these off.
I got Jalen. I got Jalen, then came back and got Jimmy.
I thought so. I did.
That might be. I got to check the tape. I didn't.
I think he did.
I didn't do Shift Command X to strike through.
I think he did. I'll just say Chris Paul for steals because
Chris Paul is also tied with them all. All right. Well played. Good sportsmanship, everybody. 21-12.
Your turn, Chuck.
We'll do like 2 more.
What? Blocks. What about Gobert?
Gobert is not there on blocks. All right, John, you can finish strong. We'll do one more guess here, and then I'll give you the remaining
blocks.
Answers.
I'll do Jaden McDaniels. He has a.
There you go.
Okay.
You made it just an 8-point loss, 21-13.
Who's second on rebounds?
Joel Embiid.
Oh.
Joel Embiid is second on rebounds. Nikola Jokic. Our steals, the ones who are tied for steals, we didn't mention. Nikola Jokic, Austin Rivers, defensive specialist, Fred VanVleet, Kyrie Irving, and Spencer Dinwiddie. Karl Anthony Towns is second in blocks. And then going to fouls, Spencer Dinwiddie, Draymond Green, Pascal Siakam would have accepted any of those. And then turnovers. We got Trae Young, but tied for second, Nikola Jokic and Karl Anthony Towns. Well done, guys, and a very nice victory.
We did it.
Not so good for me.
Not so good for you. John, what is your best thing? What's your steak and eggs best thing?
So for me, I know this will sound weird because it's something everyone's really tired of, but I have enjoyed the different kinds of referee complaints we've gotten. this postseason. I thought nobody likes to hear any teams blame it on the refs, especially when it's your team like the Grizzlies. But I love the all-time most cruel adjective you could put in front of officiating, I think, arrogant.
Oh,
Coach Jenkins called it arrogant, which I really love that. And I think that's
a fun twist.
That's probably going to get him on some referees' lists for some time. And then I thought Joel Embiid's quote about the officiating was an all-timer, where he was just saying, like, I know that the referees have a job to do in this instance, and they're doing an incredible job of it, inferring that their job is to extend the series as long as possible. Bring in the Tim Donaghy slander is always a bonus for me. So if you're going to complain about the refs, which is pretty odious, you might as well make it fun. And
the Embiid slow clap was really nice. The very sarcastic clap. You know, for my brethren wearing the zebra stripes, although I know obviously they don't wear stripes in the NBA. No. I gotta say the NBA not really having their back. The NBA
$15,000
handing out some very light fines for all these criticisms of officiating for implying the games are fixed. A tiny little fine for Taylor Jenkins saying it was a disgrace. It was the worst officiated game I'd ever seen. They were arrogant, saying it was just, what wasn't what you expect. And they're like, yeah, 15 grand. That's nothing. That's what you could get away with. You could do 2/3 of a big balls dance for that. That's not even the Sam Cassell dance fine.
What about just a one ball dance?
This is a very low fine.
One ball dance.
And I'm like, not saying these things are correlated, but I haven't seen this many whistles in the playoff games ever in my whole life. And we have legalized national sports betting across the country at this point. Is this the first playoffs where every state can gamble on the
every
NBA
state
now?
Cannot gamble on the NBA.
No, it's not true. Okay,
in my world, every
also
state can
you're a
gamble
Heat
every day.
fan, and I mean,
what?
Bennett
Don't
Salvatore?
you dare bring up Bennett Salvatore. I knew it.
Dwayne Wade is essentially responsible for everything we see that's wrong in the NBA.
No one
fall
could
down
guard
7
him.
times, get a whistle 8.
Here's the thing.
Wasn't that his campaign?
That was his campaign. But here's the difference, though, where Dwayne Wade was actually more athletic than anyone on that Dallas Mavericks team. We see James Harden.
Juan Jose Barea.
He wasn't on the 06 team. Check yourself. We see James Harden falling on a step back, right? Then Embiid getting a rebound, falling without being touched by a raptor.
Tumbling.
And it's
safe falling.
Mind-blowing the kind of
he was taking a bump.
There's a difference between Jimmy Butler gets a lot of fouls. He does it by manipulating his body in space close to the basket, which is the preferred way to draw a foul. We're doing all this nonsense, and then we're getting mad at the refs too. Like, we gotta kind of call the players out also for being nudniks. And I will include Kyle Lowry in this discussion.
Very, very wise 4-dimensional chess maneuver there to pull out the Lowry, because you were about to get sunned on YouTube.
There's something about that. Like, if we're gonna make refereeing a thing that we want to talk about, how about we make it where they're removing the crap from the game that makes the game crappy?
So the Grizzlies got called for 33 fouls in game 4. There hasn't been a team get called for more fouls in a regulation playoff game since 2016.
Oof.
Where the Rockets got called for 34 fouls. Do either of you want to guess, in a slower paced game with fewer possessions, how many fouls did the Dallas Mavericks get called for in game 5 against the Heat in the 2006 playoffs?
54.
No, it's too much.
Oh, okay.
38. They got called for 38 fouls. 12 more fouls.
That would have been
Dwayne Wade shot
funny.
25 free throws. The Heat shot 49 free throws in that game.
He was at the peak of his powers. So that's it.
No, I'm of two minds here. Obviously, I thought there were a couple squirrely calls that went against the Grizzlies. And definitely these games are taking way too long. They're so long.
Oh my God.
It's bad. I don't want to get into your stuff.
The Grizzlies games are like 180 minutes. They're longer than Matt Reeves' The Batman. It is way too long. And but also part of it, we were eyeballing like a Wednesday with no games.
Right.
I'm saying 36 hours ago, the league was eyeballing basketball games on Wednesday.
I'm into I think the ref conspiracy theories are just true. I think they're extending series.
That's
where I'm at. Sorry.
The numbers are bad.
I'm the Riddler.
The numbers are bad where you see all these teams with a chance, that they could have gone down 3-1. Reddit's on this, that the Timberwolves got over 40 free throws. The Pelicans got over 40 free throws, and I think the Suns shot 15. And then the Mavericks were at a big disadvantage as far as the number of fouls called, where the Jazz benefited. All those series that could have gone 3-1 are now 2-2, so those series will extend. You see the Nuggets winning to make sure that Nuggets Warriors keeps going longer. You see Doc Rivers. Hey, listen, Doc Rivers, maybe it's not that he's bad in closeout games. Maybe he's a company man. He's a company man. He knows how the league works.
He needs that extra revenue. I would also posit
Keith just took the turkey bacon conspiracy for Chuck forever.
I'll also posit that Jimmy Butler in Game 3 against the Hawks was complicit in this. Maybe he's on the payroll because he was taking shots. He should.
Trae Young can't make any shots for 3 games, and suddenly
Jimmy Butler is now in the inner sanctum. He goes to the meetings. He's in the room in the penthouse.
33rd degree.
When they discuss how these things happen, he's like, I understand.
He's a knight of the order.
He got that Michelob Ultra sponsorship, and that was it. That's how you knew.
Listen, this is how we get generational wealth to as many players as we can.
Right.
It's by maximizing profits, and part of that is losing when you got to lose.
You got to take
sometimes you got to take a fall.
Right.
It's not a great day for the anti-conspiracy theorists in the league right now.
Oh, and Netflix just greenlit a referee show that supposedly Tim Donaghy is going to be giving interviews.
Right.
I'm really hoping that was based off the IP from Fastbreak breakfast guest. I can't remember his name, Keith.
Whistleblower.
Tim Livingston from Whistleblower.
Yeah, Tim Livingston.
No, honestly,
he did a great job.
Get that money.
The Whistleblower podcast, where one of my favorite takeaways from that, it's something that they kind of exposed on their show, but something I already knew, but it isn't something I thought was nefarious. And then hearing Tim Livingston's perspective of thinking it was nefarious, like the in-series adjustments, like Tim Livingston's mind was blown that after like Game 3, they let the teams be like, hey, listen, this is what's happening. And then the NBA goes to them and are like, hey, we're not calling enough fouls on the Grizzlies. And the referee's like, all right, cool. Got it. Like, for me, that was like that. It made sense. Like, all right, you're adjusting, you're showing them game from what's actually happening.
When you show that there were so many fouls called on the Timberwolves in the previous games, the
Timberwolves are leading the NBA and having the most fouls called against them this postseason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise, but for me, more than anything, I just want them to stop calling so many fouls so that the games can be more enjoyable. It is. I can tell you, I've told people all year that my two favorite teams, I'm trying to pull more of my friends into the Grizzlies, and I was hoping the playoffs would be a perfect time to do so. And I pointed out, not only I think the Grizzlies are the most fun team to watch, I would put the Timberwolves right there with them. So I'm like, you got to watch this series. And my friends are texting me like, this is not watchable.
It's
like, this is not fun. I'm turning this off. And, it
doesn't help that the Grizzlies aren't really outside of Desmond Bane.
So terrible.
Let's do some worse things since we're kind of getting there. It feels like we're getting there.
We might have been there a while.
The opposite of our steak and eggs is our cream of wheat. The cream of wheat worst thing. What is your worst thing, John? Is it these interminable? I think mine might be the games, just the length of the games. It's crushing me. I mean, all right, listen, 2 Central Time Zone teams are going to start at 9:10 local time on a Saturday, and then you have the temerity to call 33 fouls on one of the teams to award 65 free throws in the game. We're playing this until after midnight local time.
Keith and I we're trying to watch the game with some of our Patreon followers, and Patreon subscribers, and I had to log off because it had gotten too late and I was being
couldn't
too
stop
loud.
yawning.
Yeah, I mean,
Gross.
This is just not what anyone wants. It's offensive. And let's stay on the same game. For me, it's just the Japocalypse now that we're experiencing with John Morant right now, because everyone who is complaining about like Karl Anthony Towns and Trey Morant and or Trae Young, like I'm just like, well, they're going to look at Ja soon and see how terrible Ja has been, and it's just going to be hell to defend, and we have to relive the whole 21-2 without Ja Morant conversation. People are going to start being like they should bench Ja Morant. I mean, it's coming, and it's hell. This is just not fun for me.
This is breaking news. Ja Morant is the NBA's most improved player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ja Morant, his best game at the Timberwolves this year. I guess it was the triple double where he just was abysmal from the field. He's shooting 29% in 4 games, 2 postseason games and 2 regular season games at Minnesota. His highest field goal percentage in a game at Minnesota this year is 33%. This is a guy who dominates the paint, led the NBA in points in the paint, finishes at the bucket at an incredible degree, has a generally pretty high field goal percentage, and he is just struggling mightily. They point to the injury. They're saying he's banged up, he's hurt, but like he did this in the regular season. I think in all 8 matchups this year against the Timberwolves, he's shooting 37% on his field goals, and it's rough. And now I'm stuck with, well, if he's hurt, do we go down? Do we go down with the ship? Or I'm thinking like, hey, should Tyus Jones play more if John Morant's
This is hell.
It's a rough place to be, man. It's a weird place to be.
But yeah, the Japocalypse is painful. But like even Tyus, we're seeing, have turnovers. He doesn't usually have turnovers. It's just
that part's kind of fun.
Without Bane, this would be over. This would be over.
Yeah, you might be right there. You're kind of bringing me down. My worst thing. It's not really worst. It's real brief. I can't get over the Ben Simmons story. I can't get over that he announced he basically people leaked that they were coming back, and then he's like, no, I'm not coming back. And like, I don't know. It was kind of funny. Like, why in the world would you come back at the end of this series? And now the Nets are down 3-0. They have their chance on Monday night to salvage some more revenue from the league. Who's the company man on the Celtics? Who's going to understand? Al Horford's going to pull aside Jason Tatum and explain how the sausage is made.
Hey, bud.
He's gonna say, listen, some of our games they're actually predetermined. And
I do love how Ben Simmons, like the entirety of his playoff contribution, is sitting on the sidelines in weird outfits. Like he had this multicolored rainbow outfit last game where he looked like Simon Says, that game from childhood. Like Simmons Says, like he had 8 different primary colors on. And but yeah,
he looked like he was hosting Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, he looking like a bag of M&Ms.
Everybody dresses like they're Malcolm Jamal Warner on the Cosby Show now. It's really insane to me.
Everybody's wearing Coogee.
He does seem like he's having a good time at the games, though. So that's a step. He's having fun being there.
He's sitting there. He's looking cool.
Look,
he's like a fan who won a contest. He gets the rebound for famous players. Like
if I'm Ben Simmons and I'm getting paid not to play, I'm riding that all the way home. But,
well, I mean, to kind of have the confidence to do that too, like that takes hey, yeah, guys, I'm not going to play, but I'll sit here right next to you just to let you know
that thing about
cost a lot of money.
That thing about getting paid and not having to play. I mentioned something similar to that on the podcast earlier. Like I said something like, hey, listen, we've all had jobs where you got paid whether you showed up or not. And just like, who cares about showing up? And my wife, who's very successful, overheard that. She's like, I don't think all people feel that way, man. Like, I don't think that's like a universal thing. You open it up like, hey, lots of people feel this way. She's like, I think it might just be you and podcasters.
Yeah, it's the podcaster ethos.
It's the podcaster community. Anyway, what's your worst thing? Did you do your worst thing?
We go back into performances. Ja didn't play well against Timberwolves in the regular season. Trae Young didn't play well against the Heat in the regular season. And it's continued in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I guess we should have known better. We should have known better. Like we should have done our homework.
So this is
as non-working podcasters, we did not do our job.
That's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, is Trae Young a fraud or is he just facing a buzzsaw defense?
Yeah, the Heat are just crazy.
Is this the situation?
It's the same thing with Durant. Kevin Durant is not washed up. I watched a whole season of not washed up Kevin Durant. The Celtics are insane at defense. The Heat aren't. This just happens. I mean, it just happens.
You face those matchups, and what Trey's saying that he hasn't faced defense like this since high school. What high school was he in?
He might have been. Did he mean like junk defenses? Like I haven't faced the triangle in 2.
Oh, maybe
like that. Like maybe weird things where there's like, hey, we're gonna put all our players on you. We're not gonna play a normal just man to man.
But yeah, there seems to be like a resignation in his game, like he's shooting his Trey shots, like close to the logo Trey shots, but they're like, oh, I have no other choice because I can't drive. There's 4 people meeting me in the lane whenever I drive. And for some reason can rotate out when I kick it to a shooter. Like it's tremendous defense is going on.
And more than that, and this is happening in our Timberwolves series as well. They're putting Trey in every action.
Oh my God.
They're picking on him very badly. Same thing's happening in the jaw. It's not fun.
and like things like PJ Tucker putting him in the post and looking like Charles Barkley. And then the next 2 possessions, he's putting everyone on the team in the post up and scoring or getting fouled. Like it's tremendous to watch what's happening with that Atlanta team. But I think they just they need another mango season. I don't know if they should run it back or not because they are young and DeAndre Hunter.
The Hawks.
Well, outside of Danilo,
I don't think they can run it back.
No, they got to shut it down.
I think there's something spoiled there. It's not right.
Yeah, they could give it.
I mean, maybe you wait for a healthy John Collins,
I think Gallinari's expiring contract.
He has like a $5 million guarantee, and so they're probably not going to pay him $20 million. I'm not sure. I'm no Hawks expert. I feel weird. This is like the Trae Young. This is the Trae Young opinion I'd formulated a year ago that was ruined by last year's postseason, and now I'm just bummed out that the world is more nuanced than I can handle as just a.
Or is it? Why don't we go back? And I am an Atlanta Hawks fan, and I enjoy the play of Trae Young. Who did the Hawks beat in the playoffs last year?
And Beasley,
the Knicks, and Doc Rivers.
Yeah. But still, I'm not big into like taking away. It wasn't like those teams were missing all their players. This wasn't like a Portland Trailblazers conference finals run.
I'm just having fun. I still think, I think the Hawks are fine. I think the Hawks would beat the Bulls. I think the Hawks would beat some other playoff teams. The Heat are really good. They won the most games in the East. It's just time.
They won fewer games than the Suns and Grizzlies, and that's not going very well for us.
Yeah, but I mean, we just got to say the Heat are healthy. They are good, and they're good.
They're not even healthy. Kyle Lowry's not even playing.
Kyle Lowry's out, and they didn't have a turnover in the first half. Insane.
Never mind. Bang the gavel.
Where was this Tyler Hero in the regular season?
Oh man,
very offended when I wagered humiliation over Tyler Hero not averaging 18 points per game in the regular season. He goes out and was it 21 or something? And now he's at 12 in the postseason.
He's not played well. Bam's kind of been like, I don't think he's taken 10 shots in a game yet.
Doesn't need to.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like this team kind of can figure out who's cooking, and then that's the person. And playoff Jimmy is a thing. Like we can just, other than last year's, like Bryn Forbes played better than Jimmy Butler, like aberration. Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. I mean, it's hard to argue.
Let's just, it's a different season in the playoffs, and it's one that Butler thrives in.
Let's move on to our, I think we have time for maybe one listener submitted question. The croissant questioner.
Drew asks, who would be on your all NBA playoff bedwetters team? Gentlemen.
Ooh.
Do we get it? This is just people who do worse in the playoffs. This is our.
It's DeMar DeRozan up top.
Drew is a noted miserable Minnesotan and wants us to talk about Karl Anthony Towns, but I'm not ready to do that yet because Karl Anthony Towns has been the best player in games against the Grizzlies that we've lost.
He was great in Game 4.
Yeah, He's had one bad game in his very brief playoff.
I'm
career.
not. I mean, if you wanted to nominate a Timberwolves
Harden is obviously
player, I mean, D'Angelo Russell might be submitting his early application. He hasn't been awesome, but I think the Grizzlies have focused their defense on him. So I don't know. Yeah, bigger fish to fry. Yeah, Harden, you consider him
famously.
Karl Malone, but he got to the finals. But he did always, his numbers were way worse in the postseason. Do we want to
recent memory? Ben Simmons.
Do we want to anger Drew?
Sure.
Timberwolves fans, like, don't make me read Kevin Garnett's playoff stats again.
Yeah,
that was a great. I mean, honestly, that was a great moment in Fastbreak breakfast history. But Garnett was a great player, but as like the 1A, is like the alpha offensive scorer, his numbers took a pretty big dip in most of his postseasons. Maybe he got better at it. But with all his first round exits,
with the Celtics,
his
numbers, he left Minnesota,
his numbers were much worse than his regular season numbers.
But there is like it didn't happen until it did. Kyle Lowry before their 2019 playoff run was
before some of his better games.
Yeah, it was terrible. DeMar DeRozan, also bad.
Playoff P.
Playoff P.
I mean, the playoff Paul George
Stephon
one is
Marbury. Let's go. You want to go?
Yeah, okay, Marbury.
Steph Marbury is really bad.
I mean, the Paul George one he has so many good ones sprinkled in there, but he definitely had that, like, it happens more to him than others. I think we did that research at one point too, where he had a higher percentage of like total bust games, shop level games where he was 5 for 20 than it normally occurs.
Kenyon Martin
posted one of the worst finals game ever.
What about
multiple?
Tracy McGrady? Was he like? I don't remember, but
he famously
flaming out.
He famously lost to the Pistons when he announced he'd already made the second round. Because McGrady, I believe, did McGrady never made the second round ever? Is that possible?
I mean,
I think of my favorite players actually. I think of much tinier fish. I think of D'Anthony Melton now, who now has multiple. We're talking a handful of. We're still in the single digits on games, but like an important role player who suddenly it just seems all too big for him. Doesn't get his opportunity. One of my favorite players, and one of the guys who maybe I think has some of the most number of games played in NBA history, Clifford Robinson back in the day, his numbers plummeted in the postseason. They were always way worse. I mean, most players' numbers get worse just flat out because the games are harder and the defense is tougher, and maybe you're put in more extreme situations. Are there any other like the big ones?
I mean, like Joel Embiid hasn't.
John Morant,
really...
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Chris.
Well,
Paul.
Jaren's never done the playoffs. I mean, last year's Ja averaged 30 points a game, so it's too early to, I think, do any of that.
I mean, Chris Paul.
I think Chris Paul's eradicated that, but I get
after last year, maybe. Embiid, like, never.
I don't think so.
Embiid's a monster.
Embiid's a killer.
But when you're the number one seed, and last year you lost. It's obviously the stats are good, but like he hasn't, brought his team to where it was supposed to be. I don't know.
Can't blame
expectations.
He's miserable LeBron fan, jerk. Ring chasing animal. Sorry, that just came out of me.
It matters.
Yeah, I don't know who the
Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, let's do Wilt Chamberlain. Let's do guys like that. Let's get old school on it. I think George Gervin had a rough time in the playoffs.
I mean, so many of these are like, you think the ones coming to mind are guys who just never won a title, but like they did, they didn't have drop. Like Barkley was amazing in the playoffs.
I wouldn't.
Kemp was amazing in the playoffs, and I do think of Karl Malone. He was struggling in the clutch.
He was the first person I remember being a guy known that way.
Dominique Wilkins didn't want the ball.
Well. I don't remember Dominique Wilkins' playoff games. Like I'm aware they occurred, but
this Bleacher Report listicle let me know.
Okay. Just read those.
That's what I've been doing. For the Artist Gilmore, really.
I'll stand for no Artist Gilmore slander on this show. Anyway, thanks for the question, Drew. If you want your own question to be answered on air, you have to become a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. You can also join in our Slack channel where we talk about stuff around the clock. You also join the monthly Zoom hangout we do where we answer questions. Sometimes we watch basketball games together also using various internet technology. So if you want to support this show, support us over at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, it's now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. We have a few honorable mentions. Patrick Williams, 0 for 9. Tyler Hero, 1 for 8. What? Max Strus, 4 for 16. We have
Still winning.
3 nominees as they occurred throughout the week. I have lost them. Hang on. Do this game by game. All right, hang on. Oh, sorry. Hey, there it is. All right. Fred VanVleet in a loss, game 2 loss to the 76ers, was 7 for 23. He did have 20 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, and 1 personal foul. Spencer Dinwiddie. We haven't mentioned Jazz Mavericks. I don't think this entire show.
Man.
I know. We really should have. How amazing was it for Donovan Mitchell to finally pass Rudy Gobert and then win a game as a direct result?
Oh, that's a good point. I'm also going to honorable mention Donovan Mitchell, 7 for 21. All right. Spencer Dinwiddie in the game 3 win over the Mavericks was 6 for 21 from the field. He also scratched out 20 points, had 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, and he fouled out. Nice work. And then finally, Kevin Durant in a game 2 loss to the Celtics. He was 4 for 17, but he himself scored a lot of points, 27 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 6 turnovers, and 5 personal fouls.
That's hard.
It's a hard one this week, guys. They need our professional opinion.
I think I'm going with KD.
Kevin Durant was 4 for 17 with
6 turnovers.
6 turnovers and 27 points. Spencer Dinwiddie was 6 for 21, had 20 points, 6 assists, and fouled out. And then Fred VanVleet was 7 for 23 with 20 points, 7 assists.
These are all Stackhausian lines.
I also am going to vote Kevin Durant, and we'll have to check. We'll have to run through the annals. We'll have to get our assistant to run through the record books.
Intern
is 27 points. I feel like that might be the most points ever scored by
it could be
an iShop winner.
Are we just wrong to do that?
No, I think we're right.
You got to pick a 20-point scorer, and that KD game. I know it's not the box score, but man, it jumped out at his.
Look at the box score. It's terrible.
Six turnovers
is terrible.
Yeah.
I think we did
KD. Okay.
Our highest scoring.
I mean, he's already got 2 of the 3. Sure, a unanimous. Congratulations, Kevin Durant. You're playing for increased NBA revenue against Al Horford, Jason Tatum, and the Celtics on Monday night. If Jason Tatum just beats him down again, I don't know what the Nets do going forward. That's a wildness there. Anyways, par fadeaway, gentlemen. What things are we looking forward to in the coming week besides the Grizzlies watch party on Tuesday night, besides the Grizzlies watch party on Friday night in Nashville at Noble's Beer Hall?
I think I speak for everyone when I'm rooting hard for Pelicans upset of the Suns and be watching that series with keen eyes. Keen eyes.
I'm trying to decide what I would least want to happen in my life. Would I rather the Grizzlies lose to the Timberwolves or advance to the conference finals and lose to the Pelicans?
I think you'd rather advance to the conference finals and lose
to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having the 9 seed Pelicans with Jonas Valanciunas standing between us and the NBA finals and then having the finals taken away by the Pelicans? I don't think I can handle that. I think I would rather just go ahead and get my pain over with now.
I mean, I do like the Timberwolves a lot more than I like the Pelicans, but I think since adding CJ, this Pelicans team is a lot of fun. Who are we going to name?
Fun.
Who are we going to name Peaches so that we have Peaches and Herb? Like, who can we name? Brandon Ingram's nicknames all suck. Jack Skellington's a bad nickname. B.I. is a bad. Can we call him Peaches?
Slim Reaper's kind of great.
That's Kevin Durant. That's Kevin Durant.
You can't take it away from Kevin Durant, even though he denied it. Yeah, everyone knows it's Kevin Durant, one of the best.
Servant. Yeah.
One of the best. Oh, the servant. Oh man.
Even Keith.
It's the worst name ever. That's a great question. I mean, I would think Jose Alvarado, but Grand Theft Alvarado is already incredible.
Oh my God, the best.
Hard to mess with. Can we just call JV? Can he be Peaches?
He's still Big Tuna to me, but I get it.
Do we need to go with Peaches and Herb? There's that great Outkast song, Crumbling Herb, and that's enough because he crumbles folks. He crumbles you. You put him on somebody and he's dust.
Yeah,
I think we should just go Crumbling Herb.
I'm just gonna call him Herb.
I don't know what words you're saying, so I'm too stupid for it.
Crumbling.
John, I needed you to get the reference because that's your job here in this situation.
Right. I mean, I like Outkast, but I couldn't figure out the word he was saying, so I was just lost.
Just crumbling herb.
I guess.
Just crumbling herb.
Of these 2-2 series, I guess I'm looking forward to, are we going to get our game sevens? Is the weekend going to be one filled with game sevens with Timberwolves Grizzlies with... I don't feel like the others are going that far.
I don't either. I kind of feel like, well, but who knows? Let's let the Donahues of the world do their job. Okay.
Yeah. I also like people I also see a lot of talk going around being like some NBA officials are even saying the games are rigged. It's like, it's not some officials. It's Tim Donaghy. It's Tim. It's the convicted. It's the felon. Like, we know.
Many are saying this.
That's right. It's like they keep saying well, this referee is saying this. It's not this referee. It's Tim Donaghy. It's Tim Donaghy. Anyways, if you do want to catch the Who at the FedEx Forum, May 13th, tickets are available now at the FedEx Forum box office or through Ticketmaster. If you want to support our show, do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You can follow us on Twitter at fastbreakbreak. Follow John, Master John Bird, Chuck, the mighty Chuck. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Bye, boys.
Thanks, guys.